African Guides for Kids show, we're going to deal with a certain, what do we call it? It was an interview, right? It was going on. In a certain interview about Africa. And I just fail to understand how is it possible for, some questionnaire or maybe, some moderators being quite arrogant. I'm not going to lie about that. I don't want really to sugarcoat on anything. But I just want to understand how is it possible for people to be arrogant? And that is what we are going to discuss. This is a guy, of course, he's been talked in German. For those who don't understand German, I'll do my best to do the translation. As you can hear, I have some helpers, so he's going to do it well. He's going to help me on that. Yes, we are going to try. We are going to do the translation on one side, and then let's listen to how it is. But before that, how are you feeling today? Because I'm feeling the vibes on vibes. How are you? You know I'm just that light. This was a guy who actually worked in a certain TV station. I really don't want to put any names out there. I just want, due to privacy and as well. Okay, we're going to find out. Let us listen to what transpired or what inspired. Maybe the inspiration part, we will work on it. But let's see what it went on. This is how it went down. We're going to go part by part, of course, with the translating. I have a helper like you guys heard. So we're going to do it. And we're going to listen to what he feels about the question.
Afrika ist ja ein Thema. Da kann man nur sagen, Woo, Afrika. Und ich möchte Sie gerne als erstes fragen, welche Figur aus König der Löwen beschreibt denn die afrikanische Mentalität am besten?
So, this is a moderator, like I said, in a certain TV station. He's asking, whenever people hear Africa, there's that way they put it, woo! So I'm like wondering, of course, with his facial expression, it's not like he's so like, oh, Africa. No, he's quite arrogant on it. And that's what I just wanted to talk about it. And that the question, that's how it went. When one hears about Africa, how somebody be like, whoa. And then you all know the cartoon that the Lion King. Everybody, for heaven's sakes, we have watched Lion the King. For those who have watched, come and see me behind the tent. So, if then they ask, how do you describe Africa with an animal or a creature in this Lion King? And I'm like, what in the world? How do you describe a whole continent? Most probably, this guy does not know that Africa is a continent. But yet, we are more to know about it. He doesn't know that Africa is a continent. So, let's hear what he got to say. Oh, let's hear, to the answer that comes with it is Africa. And is there any animal that can describe Africa? For heaven's sake, ladies and gentlemen.
Was ist denn afrikanische Mentalität? Gibt es auch europäische Mentalität?
Das ist natürlich unheimlich vielfältig. Das sind ja kleine Länder.
Und das ist genau das Problem.
Exactly. And you can hear the lady saying, that is a problem. What is an African? If you can really describe an African mentality, is there a European mentality? Is there Asiatic mentality? Is there American mentality? How can you describe? It's just like putting a whole continent in one nylon paper, because they're not even putting a sack. A sack is quite big, So this one is he's putting a whole continent in a cup. Like, what in the world? How is it even possible for someone to be like that arrogant? Like, seriously. And then he doesn't know that Africa is a continent. Did you realize that? Actually, that is what he's talking about. Like, he's saying that okay, Africa is a small thing, and the lady, as you can hear, he's telling him, what is the African mentality? Or maybe you can help me by describing what is an European mentality. Yeah. And then the guy goes on saying, there are small villages here and there, and that is a mistake, and that is this problem. That is a problem. Like, you take a whole continent to become a village. How is it possible for that?
Also Hakuna Matata kann man ja vielleicht so als kleinsten gemeinsamen Nenner schon.
Nein, Afrika ist ein Kontinent mit 55 Ländern, mit so vielen Kulturen, Sprachen, ja, Traditionen, Lebensarten. Und deswegen kann keine afrikanische Mentalität geben.
Exactly, and that's what the lady says. Like, you can hear him saying that the Hakuna Matata. Let me tell you about the Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata is actually a Swahili sentence or a word or something that we use in Kenya. Or those Swahili speaking countries. That is Kenya and Tanzania. Only 2 countries in a whole continent of 55 countries says Hakuna Matata, meaning there is no problem. And this guy, a whole moderator, goes on and puts a whole Africa saying, oh, Hakuna Matata is something that you guys are saying, so that means there's something that is very common in the whole Africa. For heaven's sakes, there are people who in Mauritius or in other countries like Angola, Gambia, Nigeria, they know it, but they don't use it. They know that the word Hakuna Matata, but they don't use it. But you putting it like the whole continent, use it. Like, for heaven's sakes, ladies and gentlemen, do you think that this guy has to go and learn something, or we should just let him be? Anyway, to the next part.
Aber so ein paar Konstanten gibt es ja schon. Also Armut, Krieg, Korruption.
And that's how it is. Like, he has put Africa in a small thing, saying that there is poorness or poverty, isn't it? That's what it is. He calls.
Poverty.
Sorry?
That they are living in poverty.
There's fight. There's war.
There's war everywhere. That the
There's-
houses break down, or other shops break down, or something. That's bad.
Exactly. He put it like there's always violence. There's always poverty. There's always corruption. Like, what in the world? You know what? It's just annoying because it's just so many things that describe most of these people who are very arrogant about Africa. And they just describe who they really are. Like, how is it even possible for a whole person to go and put something like that on air, So anyway, let's listen to the next part, what he got to say.
Genau das Problem, diese Erzählung in Europa. Afrika ist arm. Ich glaube, das ist eine sehr falsche Erzählung, weil Afrika ist eines der reichsten Kontinente der Welt. Und dann fragt man sich, warum wird immer diese Erzählung wiederholt, weitergegeben, wiederholt? Weil ich glaube, das ist irgendwo schlechtes Gewissen, die Europäer, die dieser Kontinent jahrzehntelang, jahrelang mit Sklaverei, Kolonialismus ausgebeutet habe, behindert habe in Wirtschaftsentwicklung und immer noch heute noch in verschiedenen Arten behindert.
Ja.
Die verbreiten diese Erzählung, um einfach ihr schlechtes Gewissen zu kaschieren.
There's something they say. There's a sentence they say. For most of the people who really talk bad about you or ill about you, there are so many things that they try to cover. It's either they don't like who you are or what you've become, or maybe they are envying the fact that of who you are. And they know, they can see your potential, and that's why they are trying to block it for anybody else to see your potential. Or maybe it's just they see, oh wow, they are beautiful, and the moment they go there, they are going to shine. And that's it is, that's a fact, that's how it is. Now I'm going to go back to what she to how she just to what she answered. Is that she said that is the problem why a lot of people in Europe or in other continents, the people are very arrogant, saying about poverty, saying about, oh, they are always on wars, they are always on doing this and that. They forget that most of the people is that they try to cover up their own mistake, because that's what I'm going to say. They try to cover up their most mistake, and that's what I'm saying that the continent itself, I'm going to quote what she's also saying, that Africa continent is the most richest continent you'll ever see, and you'll ever find, from birth till the end of life, for each one of us on this earth. Is that Africa is the most richest continent, and they go to exploit. They exploit us. They exploit the African continent. They go and take our minerals. They go and take our people. They go and take our men. They go take all what we have really brought on this earth. And what do they do at the end of the day is come and say, oh, Africa is poor. And not also that, they go ahead and teach the children at school. You know, the other day I was having a conversation with the kids of one of the schools here in Germany, and they were saying how they are told, oh, Africa, there's no water. Oh, do you know Africa, you have to always contribute some money. You have to give them some money, because even on Christmas, they don't even have money. For heaven's sake, Africa is the richest place. Now, I'm going to, when we are talking about this, we are going to go on and listen to this talk and tell you why maybe people see as Africa as being poor. It's definitely not a poor continent. Trust me, you. And on the other thing is that people is a something, it's a story, because that's as a story, because it's not a his story. You know, history, I will say it's a his story. His story is something that they put a his, because they say African was invented or was discovered by a him. So they put it a his story. So it's a his story, not the real not the real thing that is there. It is his story. And then they put it out there saying how Africa is poor. And they started way decades and decades and decades, way long ago, until today. They are still giving his story about Africa, how poor it is, how terrible, how much of wars, how much of women, they don't have work, how much of violent our African men are. By the way, we are kings and queens. We are God and goddesses. Do you get that? Let's get to go.
Gut, das ist sicher teilweise wahr. Ich finde es jetzt ein bisschen sehr negativ. Reden wir vielleicht mal über das schöne Afrika. Sie sind aufgewachsen in Kamerun, inmitten von Tieren einer Dorfgemeinschaft, stelle ich mir vor, in Armut, aber so einer schönen Armut.
Now, what kind of arrogance is that? Now, he goes on shamelessly saying that you grew up, you know, this lady she's from Cameroon. He says that you grew up in small villages, yeah, with hearts. You know, hearts, not hearts like the one that beats the blood, or that helps the blood to flow. It's the hearts, like those small hearts we used to have with our ancestors. Those yeah, the HUTS, the small huts. That's what is. They're small houses, but those beautiful houses. We are not small because that's where our ancestors come from. That is our cultural. That's our culture, and it has a lot of meaning. By the way, people don't take it as if we are poor. By the way, so anyways, is that this house, these places, is that he says that you grew in in that poverty, with animals around you, with those things around, with those animals around you. I can imagine you living around animals. And I remember some people, yes, I'm going to give you the next thing. Some kids go on and say, but before I go on, let me hear what you got to say.
I mean, it's not bad if you live around animals, because I kind of don't get why you're saying that he's saying that we are living around animals. I find it good when you live around animals, but they're like in a, how do you say it, in a zoo.
In a zoo.
Yeah, like not in a zoo, but somewhere in the wilderness.
Yeah.
In free land.
Yeah.
Free landscape.
Yeah.
But they're like eingesperrt, in ein Zaun. So.
Yeah, so they are covered in a fence.
Yeah, they're covered in a
They,
fence.
they are fenced. Yes, it's not bad, but you see, it's the way the people put it out there, especially those arrogant people. They say, oh, it's because we don't have the possibility of bringing those animals together. Anyways, they want to describe Africa as a very ugly place where people get to be eaten by animals, or like how we do, we act like animals, because we live around animals. But heaven's sakes, don't you think the people who really live around animals, they have a good sense of connection? Because that's a connection, that's a spiritual connection, which is so strong. You that is not living, have not lived around animals. We have seen a lot of people trying to get dogs in their house because they're trying to get that connection. For us, it's natural. However, I would correct something, is that the animals are locked up, okay? And then he goes ahead and say, oh, you live in a beautiful poverty. For what is that? What is that? How are you going to say you live in a beautiful poverty? Poverty is poverty. You want to say that she lived in a poverty, and that's what you wanted to describe. In short, you wanted to pull her down. But
Nee, es tut mir leid. Das ist eine gute Vorstellung, die sehr viele Deutsche haben, dass alle Afrikaner in Armut wachsen. Ich bin nicht in Armut gewachsen und auch nicht viele Afrikaner wachsen in Armut. Das ist einfach eine Arroganz der Europäer.
exactly, and that is the arrogance of any European that has ever thought that Africa, whoever comes here in Europe, they come from poverty. Myself, I'm not going to lie, and people around me, I've never seen anybody coming in from poverty. What is poverty? What do you understand in poverty? Let me tell you, I'm going to be real on this. I've never seen any person who is poor than an European person. I'm not going to lie. These people are poor. It's not about money. Money. You can work every day and get your money. It's about family. It's about the inner self. It's about what you have in your heart.
About what you use.
Yes. A very big percent of people are very poor here. And they go on ahead.
Because they don't care about other people.
And they're just cold-hearted.
Yeah, because poverty is not caring about. Poverty is not caring about other people.
No.
Poverty is when people don't care about, when somebody needs help.
Yeah.
That they don't help. It's like solidarity.
Yeah. Solidarity.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
Not living in poverty is helping other people. Solidarity is having solidarity for other people.
Right.
And yeah, that's what I find very mean of other people saying that they are rich, but it's not about the money. It's about the heart that you have, the heart that you have, or the heart that you give other people.
Right.
Helping them.
Right. It's basically what you have in your heart. There's something that I totally understand. You might have everything in this world, but trust me, if you don't have the happiness in your heart. Anywho's.
Es mag arrogant sein, auf der anderen Seite hilft es natürlich auch, die Dinge zu strukturieren und für sich auch entsprechend zu vereinfachen, sodass man überhaupt darüber reden kann. Also wenn ich Sie so höre, habe ich das Gefühl, ich muss jetzt alle Vorurteile über Bord werfen. Es wird ja auf der anderen Seite auch sehr viel geholfen. Es gibt Entwicklungshilfe, es gibt Kunstwerke, Artefakte, die auch in europäischen Museen aufbewahrt wurden, gepflegt wurden und dann irgendwann sehr gepflegt möglicherweise sogar zurückgegeben werden. Also ist das nicht ein Geben und ein Nehmen?
Also, you people can hear that he's quite arrogant. He's even saying about, oh, we have to send a lot of help to Africa. We have seen a lot of things being put there, out there. And if it's come to Africa, you know, we have to give. You have to give and take. That's how it works in the world. But for heaven's sake, it doesn't work because you can never, there's some things that you cannot share. And by the way, who in Africa told that this European, we need help? Who told you to come and who signed that we need help? I'm going to tell you of a story. I was actually working somewhere, and then someone came. There was this woman who came, and she said she asked, hey, how are you? I feel like I should give you this so that you can go and support your work. I was like, okay, thank you, business for business. If you feel like support, then well and good. And then later on, he came and wrote a letter saying that, oh, I got this certain African lady and I helped her with this money. And I was like, you know, of course, the bosses came to me asking, okay, did you ask for money? And I was like, no, I did not ask for any money. She came with her way of thinking and thought that I needed her help. You know, it's the fact that we are going to be factual about this, that the fact that I am black, that she said, oh, it's most probably that I need money. Only for her, and then to her saying that she went, what is the name of spenden? Yeah? Donate. Bringing like it's a donation. I did not ask for any donation. You said that you're going to help. Yeah, you want to give. I did not ask, please, I need some help. And that is the thing about most of the European countries. They go and say, oh, we are going to help this. And then for that fact, we are going to take this. Of course, that is something that we call erpressung. Somebody help me, what is erpressung? What is erpressung? No. There's a word they use. Erpressung. Let's look on the dictionary. Yeah? Erpressung is more of, no, it's something, eh? No, look on it. Look on that thing. Well, you want to take something from us by force, and it's by something that you have decided to give in the name we are donating. It's okay, donate, but we did not ask you. And that's what it is about us. We did not ask about the donation. Blackmailing, exactly. Blackmailing. That's what they do. Blackmailing. Erpressung is blackmailing. And that's most of the Europeans do. Do blackmailing.
Wer hat denn die Europäer gebeten, dass die Entwicklungshilfe, dass die Hilfe nach Afrika gibt?
Ja, es ist eine selbstlose Art. Es ist einfach auch um Weihnachten rum natürlich.
Selbstlos. Und das ist genau das Problem, weil seit mehr als 60 Jahren fließen Entwicklungshilfe nach Afrika. Aber man sieht gar nicht, was mit diesem Geld stattfindet. Wo sind die Fabriken? Wo sind die Produktionsstätten? Warum wird man nicht Schokolade in Afrika produziert? Warum möchte man, dass einfach die Kakaobohne immer nach Europa, in die Schweiz, nach Deutschland exportiert werden? Warum nicht in Afrika? Wissen Sie warum? Weil man möchte die Arbeitsplätze hier in Europa schaffen mit afrikanischen Produkten. Und wenn man Arbeitsplätze hier schaffen, dann bleiben die Afrikaner ohne Arbeitsplätze. Und wenn die Leute ohne Arbeitsplätze migrieren wollen, dann sagt EU, nee, ihr bleibt schön wieder da zu Hause. Und das ist genau das Problem.
Exactly. That is the thing that I was saying. Who asked for your help? You know the way you're saying, oh, we send help, we send donation, we do all these kind of things. Who said that we need that help? No, we didn't. And the thing is, you go ahead, like I said, you do the air pressing, you do the blackmailing. Oh, if you want to come here, then you have to produce a certain amount of coffee. You have to produce a certain amount of cacao. You have cocoa. Yeah, you have to produce a certain amount of cotton. You have to produce a certain amount of this and that and this and that. And then you take all the products and send them to Europe. Yeah, and then after sending them to Europe, you know, you don't even give those Africans that you have already put down. You made them work like donkeys. You made them work as if they have no blood in their body. And you go ahead saying that we are donating. Who asked for your donation? The only thing that you people do, I'm not going to lie, is steal. And that's why, and I'm going back to the beginning, you'll hear that they always say that African is poor. Why? Because they want to cover. They just feel very, very sad about themselves. Yeah, they just feel, oh, we did something wrong, so we have to cover up. We have to cover up with something. We have to say something for the Africans to not have the self-esteem. A good self-esteem, and by that is by always lying ages after ages, decades after decades, anniversaries after anniversaries, that the African continent is poor. Yet you know you are the ones who is stealing from Africans. You're taking it from Africans day in out.
Auf der anderen Seite ist es natürlich auch sehr heiß in Afrika und da frage ich mich, ob gerade Schokolade auch da gut hergestellt und gekühlt. Ich meine, die Kühlkette muss ja dann auch bis Europa. Habe Sie jetzt richtig verstanden? Es ist jetzt kein geeigneter Weg, dass man das mit Hilfe zurückgibt. Ich würde ja so gern helfen. Also was ist ja auch dann die Frage, was würde ich dann machen, wenn ich sage, ich möchte gerne helfen. Ich habe jetzt keine Qualifikation, um in Kamerun als Lehrer zu arbeiten. Ich habe überhaupt keine Qualifikation, aber ich bin weiß und B-Promi. Gibt's dafür?
Is that not rude? Like, I am white and I can help. It's just because I don't have any qualification. My friend, who asked for your help? Say something about it.
I would say that that was very, very mean of him. That he has the audacity to say that he has no qualification to be a teacher in Cameroon, and that it's too hot in Africa to grow cocoa.
For heaven's sake, cocoa grows in Africa. That Africa that you're saying it's hot, that Africa that you're mentioning about hotness and thickness and whatever, it is in Africa. Mm-hmm. They are being produced. It's just that they have to be cooled. And who said that we cannot have a company which produces a cooling things? We want to say we don't have refrigerators in our country. So that's why you want to take our cacao and our coffee to other countries and continents so that they can be produced. I mean, if it's
that we can also stop giving them the cocoa.
Right?
We can also stop giving them the coffee. We can also stop giving them the tea. You can also stop giving them
cotton.
So that other people live here in Germany. Because without us, there would be no population.
There's definitely there is no population without us. Without us, most of this continent would really fall down. Anyway, let's listen to the next part.
Warum müssen Sie in Afrika helfen? Warum müssen Sie in Kamerun helfen? Es gibt doch auch genug Probleme, auch hier in Deutschland. Es gibt genug Probleme. Es gibt Armutsprobleme, Kinderarmut, alle möglichen Probleme auch in Deutschland. Warum müssen Sie nach Afrika gehen? Warum müssen Sie nach Kamerun kommen? Ne? Und das ist genau diese Wahrnehmung. Wir Europäer, wir müssen die armen Afrikaner, schwarzen Afrikaner helfen.
Very other point. Thank you so much. I need to clap on that one. There is a lot of problems here in Europe, in Germany. How many? Let me tell you, me as a foreigner, I pay for other on my taxes. I have to pay for other Europeans who are born and raised here to go to eat. I feed a European, a German, who will have no audacity and say, our foreigners should be out of this place. Out of this place, I'm the one who's feeding you, my friend. And who said we should help? You should come and help us. That is something that I keep on asking myself. They have a lot of problems, and that is a very bad mentality, that you think you can come and help. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what they say about help? There's something that they call tokenism. Tokenism is something that you just drop, like the way the rich would, with a big belly. Imagine a rich person with those arrogant rich people who have big belly, and then they are just dropping something like this on their, or a shilling, and the whole stomach is full of notes. They just drop something, a coin, and that is what he said that he helps. Can you imagine? And they say, we help the Christmas. No, we do not need your help, my friend. Poor mentality.
Wenn ich auf der anderen Seite lese, es gibt eine Studie, die besagt, wenn man jetzt alles aufrechnen würde, was Afrika als Kontinent insgesamt angetan wurde, Sklaverei, Ausbeutung von Bodenschätzen, Völkermorde, wenn man dafür sozusagen Reparationszahlungen leisten müsste, dann wäre das eine Gesamtsumme von 100 Billionen Euro. Jetzt habe ich Weihnachten 100 Euro gespendet, vielleicht können wir das davon abziehen.
You can listen that he's saying, I donated 100 euros. We always, he keeps on repeating the same thing. You see, the reason as to why most of the Africans right now, we are not even concerned about what is happening on the world, because a lot of people think that Africa is a very poor country and people are full of poverty, and they are always aggressive and fighting and everything. And that's why you have to contribute to everything, to every part of the country. For heaven's sake, who gave permission to this person on this studio? Because it's quite embarrassing. You're embarrassing these people.
Das wäre doch gerecht, weil die Wirtschaften hier in Europa, in Amerika, die sind doch entstanden durch diese Kolonialausbeutung. Die Ressourcen aus diesen Ländern sind benutzt worden, um die Wirtschaft hier aufzubauen. Und danach haben die Europäer und die Amerikaner ihre Wirtschaftsräume mit, man nennt das Protektionismus. Die haben das protestiert, dass sogar Länder in Afrika, wenn man sagt, okay, ich möchte heute Schokolade machen, dann sagen die, ja, wenn du Schokolade nach Deutschland exportiert, kriegst du vielleicht 100% Zoll da drauf. Aber wenn sie nur Kakao exportiert, 0 Zoll. Ist das nicht Erpressung?
Is that not blackmailing? What she's saying is that the thing is, every country, whenever we are giving any country any production of anything, may it be coffee, may it be cotton, may it be all those products, may it be the oil, may it be the gold, may it be the diamond, may it be the hairs, because we also contribute hairs, by the way. Yeah, so everything we contribute, we always have to pay for something. And you know what most of the Americans and everything they do with protecting of themselves? First of all, as the lady said, they get most of their economy. Their economy is mostly stabilized by stealing from Africans, by taking from Africans, by blackmailing the Africans. And that's what they say. If you want to take this, then you have to give this. We are going to give you solidarity. If you give us this, if you give us the cocoa. If you give this, then you're going to get free. What do we call the tax? How is it even possible, people of God? That is a blackmailing. That is seeing black people, Africans, as very, very stupid. And that is something, I think it's time for us Africans to really wake up and protect what is ours. We have to come and gain authority back.
Ja, aber gehört nicht zu einem differenzierten Bild auch dazu, dass man zum Beispiel die Kolonialzeit auch mit allen Schwächen, aber auch Stärken sieht? Also ich möchte nicht sagen, es ist ausgeglichen, aber es ist natürlich auch viel durch die Kolonialherren passiert. Es ist eine Verwaltung entstanden, schöne Gebäude, es gab Infrastruktur, ist auch technisches Know-how bei der Ausbeutung der Ressourcen. Ich meine, ist das nichts?
The thing is, he said that, of course, the Africans have been... would you like to comment on something about that? Right, is that the Africans have really been poor, of course, because of the not working of the infrastructures of the economy that is going down and all that. First of all, let's make it clear. During the colonialism or during of the people where people the white people came to our land, our motherland, Africa, is that we suffered a lot. We suffered a lot of self-esteem. We suffered a lot of, the changing. Our brains were manipulated. Our ancestors' brain were put into thinking that they cannot do it. That's coming or contributing to having a low self-esteem. And that is where the problem is. And that was only done by white man. The guy who wrote the story about Africa. The guy who we say it's his story. That's where we go wrong. Let's listen to this woman, what she's going to say about that part with the Africans.
Nee, die Kolonialzeit war eine sehr schlechte Zeit für die afrikanischen Länder. Das hat die Menschen in erster Linie gebrochen. Es war so viel Gewalt ausüben. Das hat die Kulturen der Menschen kaputt gemacht. Das hat ihre Innovation kaputt gemacht. Das hat Minderwertigkeit in die Gesellschaften eingeführt. Und heute haben wir immer noch die Hinterlassung von diesem Kolonialsystem, die dazu führt, dass in vielen afrikanischen Ländern geschwächte politische Systeme vorherrschen. Und das ist genau die Wahrheit, die wir heute damit befassen müssen. Und auch wenn die Europäer erstmal ihre Fehler erkennen und sich entschuldigen für alles, was die Afrikaner angetan haben, dann sind wir schon auf dem richtigen Weg.
Tell us something about that.
Yeah, what she is basically saying that in the slavery, that where people were being brutal, they broke their innovations, their ideas. They broke their innovations. They broke their happiness. They broke everything, their mindset. They broke everything, and still today, people are still getting those same Behandlungen. The same treatment. Same treatment
yeah.
When people come to Africa and people come to Africa, white people coming to Africa and say be just saying bad things, negative things on to other people. It makes them like happy when African people are sad or not happy with their lives.
They are called sadists, people who are really happy when others are suffering. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that where was I? That people make other people sad of who they are,
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing. Yeah, that's what I find very, very, very sad. And that they just come to Africa or countries in Africa and say bad things and just go back to where they came from.
Exactly.
That's what I find very, very, very sad.
Exactly, and that they come up with and they don't. It's not something that he just came to Africa to find out. I'm going to say something that I really go through whenever I'm at work. Is that they come and say, "Oh, do you people even have houses? Do you people even? Can you be able to use a phone? Like, for heaven's sake, Jesus, you should come to Nairobi. It's the most developed city in the whole world. Leave alone this your Europe nonsense. We are developed." Yeah, so anyways, let's go back to it, saying that it's, of course, during this colonialism, a lot of people are really affected. And it's a white man who came and destroyed. And the same thing he goes telling people about his story, what they call history. Yeah, he goes telling his story instead of going and sending someone to go and learn about that place. But since he wants his story to go on and be believed by people who are arrogant, That's why he goes telling people about his story. Anyway, let's go on and listen to this.
Entschuldigung, ja. Da haben Sie sicher recht, Frau Tata. Ich entschuldige mich für dieses Gespräch.
Das wäre schon ein Anfang, Herr Erich.
Anyway, we can find out after that talk is that the moderator went on ahead and did his apologizing about his thinking about Africans. And I think it's a high time, even not only for the people who are leaders, not only for the people who are doing all these, innovating of false stories. We should go on and put the real story, the real thing that is out there. We should go and tell people what it is. If you really have to tell something, if you really have to talk, there's something about German, by the way, they have a rule. They have an Gesetz, that is what we call a law, saying about Verleumdung. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what Verleumdung is? Verleumdung is in Swahili we say kupaka jina ya mtu matope. It's what do we call Verleumdung in English? It's when you, oh God, that word is coming and then it's going. Anywho's, it's that when you take somebody's name and you try to put it in a very bad way, you lie about that person in a very negative way. You go on and say, oh, like now the way people go ahead and saying Africa is poor. We are not poor, for heaven's sake. We were just messed up. Trust me, if only these people would just leave us with all this manipulating and blackmailing and using us, we will be fine. And there's something that I want to say, if only they could leave us in peace, trust me, we will go far away, because we all know that a lot of things are done in a secretive way. The other day we had our country being visited by, the king and queens of England. Well, is it appreciated? Is it something that we say, oh, thank you that we are? Is it something that we be like, oh yeah, we are happy? But do they really care? That is something that I keep asking myself. Do they really care what we have to say, what we have to say about that? Or do they just come and invade? Coming in the name of, we are coming to celebrate the 60th celebration of having our independence. It just reminds me, it's like a husband or an ex-husband coming to celebrate his ex-wife's divorce. Is it even making sense? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us Africans to wake up. Let's stop this. Let's stop entertaining some things that are going to mendel our kids' brains, mentality, self-esteem. Let's not do that. This is QV with the African Guides for Kids show today with arrogance in most of our people living around us.
99.22 FM